Joe Biden is calling up his presidential protection team over his document drama. Meanwhile, First Lady Jill Biden springing into action to shield her husband from reporters, maybe some supporters too, asking whether he'll let the FBI search his beach house for more classified materials. Here's how it played out.
No, I got it. Thank you.
You're going to dance?
Yeah, no, you're going to come up with No, but I would love that costume. Come on up, Joe. No, you're not going to dance, believe me. We don't want to ruin the evening.
Mr. President, will you allow the FBI to search your home with beach home?
Wow. Wow. He looked, he thought about it, and he was pushed forward. Jean-Pierre, by the way, ready to protect the president by not answering any questions or pretending as if she couldn't answer these questions. But she is so bad at her job, she can't remember what other officials say.
If you do it inadvertently, or you do it and you realize, you don't have it secured in a locked bag, or, you self-report, which is exactly what the president did, self-reported.
Why do White House officials insist that the president self-reported the classified materials if his lawyers initially called the White House and not the Justice Department?
I would refer you to the White House counsel.
But we heard from this podium the other day that President Biden self-reported the materials. That's not exactly what happened.
Who did you hear that from?
John Kirby.
Well, I would refer you to the White House counsel.
Wow. So John Kirby answers the question, and she couldn't. Jesse, your thoughts about how she's going to hold on to this line still? She probably thought when Mike Pence came out and said, I had some paperwork, this thing is done, but it's not.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to refer you to the White House counsel.
Okay, fine. Jessica.
You can only use that line in special moments. That can't be your answer for every single question. And that's why Kirby's quality, because Kirby has the wherewithal to be able to dance and move and dip appropriately and talk like a human being. She can't talk like a human being. She talks like a binder, and she's going to probably be fired or resign within the next couple months. I hope when I'm Joe's age that Emma, when I'm asked a tough question as I'm leaving a restaurant, does the same thing with me. It just kind of ushers me out there gracefully, because, man, does Joe need a lot of help.
Judge, at one point she has to get briefed. Someone looking at her briefings has to say, hey, wait a second, we got to give you something else to say.
Well, she's either complicit in, blocking the information, what were they saying, however, 68 straight days and not being able to answer certain questions, or she's inaccurately saying, only the White House counsel can answer this because there's an investigation ongoing, which we know is inaccurate because during the Russia collusion investigation, they answered all the time. But the most important thing is her own self-esteem. I mean, how does the woman go out there? Does she not know how embarrassing it is? How she looks ridiculous in not being able to answer things?
She thinks she's blocking and tackling. In fact, here's Ari Fleischer on that very question. He held that job during, right after leading up and after 9/11. Watch.
Her political and personal needs dovetail perfectly with the stonewalling needs of the Biden White House. And that's why she won't answer any questions. I could have played that game innumerable times as press secretary, but you get to the point where you say, I've got an obligation. I would feel shamed if somebody else took to the podium and answered the questions that it was my job to answer.
Yeah, and that's the point. Where's her self-esteem? Is she happy just standing there and blocking information or looking stupid?
And Jessica, it's very similar to the attitude Senator Warner had yesterday. Was it yesterday when he came out and said, not getting answers from the DNI about what was in those documents is not something we're used to.
Right.
Bipartisan outrage, they do the same thing.
Well, usually things happen when there is bipartisan outrage, too, and you can't just go to your corner and say, well, my team is okay with this, right? Key members of the Biden team are not okay with this. Obviously, the press is frustrated. The American public is frustrated. Over 60% of Americans have a problem with what happened. That doesn't mean that they think that Joe Biden is guilty of something mischievous, but they want answers to this, especially how his Senate...
It makes you think he's hiding something.
Well, it leaves... Leaving doors open is a problem. And I think Dana last week really hit the nail on the head where she said to this point about Jean-Pierre, not being given enough information, that she needs to go in there and say to the principal, say to whomever she has to, you need to give me something to say or I'm not doing it. If you think John Kirby is better than me, then let John Kirby go and do this. He was up there to talk about assistance to Ukraine and then had a more open, what felt more honest conversation with the press than she has this entire time. And I'm not saying that there aren't limitations being placed on her by the council's team, but she cannot effectively do her job with the amount of information she's being given.
We kind of agree on everything. And before we get to how he's handling the fact that he did have highly classified documents, contrast it with what Mike Pence said today. He spoke about what was found at his place. Watch.
During the closing days of the administration, when materials were boxed and assembled, some of which were shipped to our personal residence, mistakes were made. We were not aware of it at the time until we did the review just a few short weeks ago. But I take full responsibility for it. They shouldn't have been there.
Jillian, he didn't say no regrets, and there's no there.
Well, it was remarkable to see the former VP accept responsibility and the reality that the buck stops with him when the current president and the former president have not done that. Because everybody who knows, everybody who's ever had a security clearance,
which
myself included, knows that the president not only has a sacrosanct obligation to protect classified information, the nation's secrets, above and beyond average Americans, but beyond all the other security clearance holders as well across the federal government. I think there's like almost 1 million of them. This is the person who's the commander in chief. This is the person who is sending intelligence operatives overseas to different countries in America's name. This is somebody who has American lives depending on him. It is not only a question of whether the president and former president can get away with this. It is a question of, is this a way to behave with integrity? Is this the way you want to protect the Americans?
Jillian, they were next to his Corvette.
Right.
It's the safest place they could be.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're being a little...
well, one other point I will tell you, and I was saying this the other day in Washington, I was 23 years old when I got my TSSCI security clearance to go work at the National Security Council. I tell you this not because I'm like bragging or something. I tell you this because the federal government is asking 23-year-olds to handle classified information responsibly. They can ask that of the president.
I have a problem with the government trusting you as a 23-year-old. I really do.
I might as well. However, I handle it very responsibly.
That could be a separate spin-off show. In fact, you could bring that up and be a new lead story. I will say this. Donald Trump had a very interesting way to handle it. It's my stuff, and I declassified it. I'd like to keep it hands off, basically. And Joe Biden said, I left it in my Corvette. I have a great car.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.